Another thing to remember with jacks is even good jacks can fail. So when you have the car in the air, you never ever want to put yourself at risk of being hurt or worse if a jack fails. All right, so you're here because you're interested in rotating the wheels yourself on your Tesla Model S. Like I said, there's a whole lot of Model 3 videos out there how to do it. I didn't see many Model S's. It's not really that different, but there are a couple small differences. So stay tuned and we'll show you at least how we rotate the wheels around our place. A couple reasons you might want to do this yourself, or the reasons that we do it, is you can save a little money. They have to be rotated every, I forget, 5,000 to 7,500 miles. If you put a lot of miles on your Tesla, that's a lot of trips to Tesla. And I think they charge when you go down there to do that, but the other thing is just the convenience. If you can do it at home and knock it out in 30 minutes versus giving up your car for half a day or a day, then you're going to need a couple specialty items for your Tesla. The first one is that you're going to need to jack it up is these little pucks here, and I'll put the things that I use that I can put a link in the description to, I will. But these little pucks, I'll show you how they fit in later, but you're going to need at least 2 of these. Also, you can't just grab the jack out of your other car and use it to jack your Tesla up. These are low profile vehicles, so you're going to need a jack that slips in underneath the car. It's a pretty narrow space there. What we ended up doing, because we anticipate rotating these tires ourselves every 3 to 6 months or whatever it is we went ahead and bought 2 rolling floor jacks, as you can see here. It was a one-time investment. I think they're about $150 each. But you want to make sure they have the weight capacity to lift the car. It's a heavy car. You also want to make sure that they can slip in this gap between the ground and the lower undercarriage of the car. So, okay, well, it's a nice day, so let's get started changing these tires. All right, before you get started, you want to go ahead and prepare from the inside for your tire rotation, and go ahead and get your parking brake engaged. Hold down the end here, you'll hear a clicking noise, and you'll see on the dash that little P lights up for parking brake. Okay, then you come over here and select service, and then here it'll be jack mode, and you go ahead and press jack mode and it will highlight in blue. And then when you're done changing, you're going to come back out and you're going to take it out of jack mode. So go ahead and leave it in jack mode and we'll get started. So you're going to want to chock all your wheels on the opposite side that you're lifting from, so the car doesn't roll. Make sure the car is on a flat surface, like you see here. And then we made our own. You could buy chocks, but I just screwed some boards together. Just make sure the screws aren't sticking out. At least that's what we did. Again, do whatever you feel is you're most comfortable with. This was something that we were comfortable with. So let's go ahead and chock all 4 sides of these 2 tires. Next thing is taking off the wheel covers or hubcaps. These just come off with a little tug. Feels like you might break them. You want to be gentle when you pull them off, but kind of pull them off. You can see here they got these little tabs. That's what holds them on over this part here. So when you're tugging them, you're just basically tugging these tabs off. These wheel covers can go on any of the 4 wheels, so you don't need to remember which one you pulled it off of, because they fit all the way around. Any hubcap or any cover can go on any of the wheels. This is also a good time to, when you have these off, you can see there's some brake dust on them, and this is a good time to clean them off. You can just wash them with a hose and a little brush or something. Also, I forgot to mention, it's a good idea to wear these some kind of nitrile gloves or latex gloves to protect your hands from mostly that's just the brake dust that's on there. It's not super healthy for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear these just to keep my hands from getting dirty. The next we're gonna break the lug nuts off. I'm gonna use a breaker bar to get them loose, and then maybe a ratchet to spin them out. At this point, it might be a good idea to get the jacks underneath because you're starting to loosen the wheels. So we'll go ahead and put these little pucks under there. You'll see how they fit under, and then we'll go ahead and get start to get the wheels off. Generally you want to break the lug nuts before you lift the car in the air because a lot of times the wheel will just spin around. The back one might not because the parking brake's on, but the front one probably will spin around if you try and put a lot of torque on the lug nuts when it's up in the air. So let's go ahead and get the jacks under there with the pucks in. If you put it in one of these ones, it's just going to fall out. See? So you want to make sure that it goes in the center one there. So we're going to use our 21 millimeter socket here with the breaker bar, and I'm using a deep socket. It gives me a little more space between the rim and the breaker bar. And just go ahead and they're usually on there pretty stiff, but remember we're just kind of loosening them right now, and you always want to follow your pattern loosening or tightening in the opposite lug nut. Now we're just loosening these here. So I'd basically jack them up evenly. You don't want one to get too far ahead of the other, I suppose. I only get the wheels off the ground just high enough so that I can comfortably pull the tire off or the wheel off. The other thing is that at this point, and part of the reason I use the two jacks is for safety. I've seen videos where people use one jack and jack up the whole side of the car, but it seems to me with this type of a car, it's nice to have that little built-in safety feature. And like I said, it's $150 extra for extra jack. It's a little bit of, if you don't have a whole lot of room in your garage to store it, it's a little bit of a pain, like for us. But for all times you change your car, to have that safety for $150 for the life of the time that you own the car, I think it's probably not a bad investment. If you got a neighbor with a Tesla, maybe each one of you buys one jack. I don't know, something like that. So. See, when you pull them out too, that they are directional. Obviously you have imagine like a plug, like a stopper or something. That stopper goes inwards. See, it's got a little taper on it. That's what goes in. And of course you always want to remember which one came off of which wheel, so you rotate them onto the correct axle. That one's pretty dirty. She doesn't like a clean inside of the wheel. Make sure you don't break these tabs off. I think they're probably pretty strong. It's not the end of the world. You don't want to trap moisture anywhere really under a couple pieces of metal that are mating together. So it's not a bad idea just to wipe this with a towel. Just if your wife's home, don't use the good towels. Use the old towels. And when you have the wheels off, you can kind of look around underneath here. Even if you don't really know what you're looking for, a lot of times you can still spot if something's wrong. You know, does it look like something's leaking? Does it look like something's bent? Is there a place where metal is rubbing on metal? all kind of things to check out and look for. So. Back on there. Back on. You take these. Remember your taper goes in. Put these on, and you want to hand thread them. Make sure you don't cross thread them. If it feels like it's not going on, you're having to force it, you're doing it wrong. So take it back off, check the threads, make sure there's nothing blocking them up, make sure the wheel is square on there. You could even try putting the nut on different threads. Sometimes that works oddly. And then once you get them on, I like to take just the socket without the wrench on it and just kind of spin them. Just to start snugging them up a little bit. Okay, there's that one. Remember, you don't want to let this down the car at any point before. These are a lot more snug than this. So we're going to go ahead and this is not a torque wrench here, but we're not torquing the spec right now. We're just snugging the non-spec. And that'll let us at least put the car back down. Okay, so just a little snug there. Just like that. Okay. And you want to stay hydrated. It's not a beer. We call this mechanics beer. It's just I don't know, fruity water or something. So here we have a torque wrench, and Tesla suggests or recommends, or actually Tesla specifies that you be at 129 foot-pounds. So we'll go ahead and set this to just under 130, because go to 129. Lock it in place. All right, so that's good to go. Now typically you're going to have the car back on the ground to snug it. Remember, if you've never used this before, watch a video on how to use them, because they are it doesn't just stop turning when you hit 129. There's a very nuanced click, but go ahead and make sure you're comfortable on how to use these before you. So what you also can do is set this to something a little bit lower than what Tesla wants it at, maybe 110, 115. Go all around your wheels, get it to 115, then bump it up to 129. Maybe a little better way to do it. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I don't know. You can do whatever way you think is best. When you release this, release them really slowly, like really slowly, so the car settles down nice and easy. If you even a quick little turn of that will drop it a lot quicker than you want, and we don't want that. We don't want the car to do that. So. And remember, you never tighten one all the way down, then another all the way down. You do it in measured steps, so you don't go all the way down. How much is a measured step? I don't know, just whatever feels. I do it till it starts getting some resistance, then I go to the next one. Get some resistance, go to the next one. In this case, like I said, we were starting out at 115, and now we're at the 129, so we're actually going to tighten it all the way this time. And you can hear on my wrench here, when it breaks, we hear a snapping noise. It's called the wrench breaking. That's when you have the torque spec that you want. Just like that. And do one double check, each one of them. Okay, And then just go ahead and make sure if you've done both wheels at 110 or 115, you go back and do them both at 129. All right, it's time to put your wheel cover back on. Just line these up. You can check if any of these are broken. These all look good. These pieces spring out and capture between this big gap here. The easiest way to line this up is to find where the valve goes, and there's be a little notch in the wheel here. You take that and you line it up with where the valve is, and just start kind of tapping around your wheel here. You want to make sure those two prongs that we looked at are between the biggest gaps in the wheel. If it's not going on, if it's not fitting in, pull it back, take a look at it, readjust it. You don't want to force this thing. You don't want to break your little tabs off. Just gentle tapping. And see, like right here, you may think it's all on, but right here, actually this tab's not in. So another little tab, go all the way around. Make sure they're all tacked in, because if one of them is loose, it might pop off on the highway. So there you go. And we cleaned this up best we could, but we might polish it a little more later. So anyway, so that's getting that back on. All right. So that's the basics of it. At least that's how I do it. Again, make sure whatever work you take on with a Tesla, you're comfortable doing, even if it's something simple like changing or rotating the wheels. I know there's a lot of extra stuff you got to buy for this, but that's just the way it goes. You don't need to do the tire sensor readjustment typically after you rotate the tires. That's not part of this. This is just a simple swapping of the wheels. And then once you have the first side done, you go around and do the second. Anyway, just remember, the only other thing is on the second side, after you're done, remember to recover those little pucks that you have. You don't want to be driving around, have those fall off, and you lose them and have to go buy more. The other thing is that it's handy to maybe carry those pucks with you in the trunk, in case you ever are somewhere where you have to have the tires changed because you get a flat, and the local mechanics maybe don't have those pucks. I don't know. It just seems like a good idea to me. So go ahead and carry those around in the car. Remember to remove your wheel chocks before you drive off. Also, that's a good thing to remember. And making sure it's not in jack mode anymore. You want to take it out of jack mode. Okay, I hope this video has been helpful, at least in showing you how we rotate the wheels on our Tesla. Anyway, if you liked the video, please subscribe. I'm not going to fix a whole lot of other things on my Tesla because it's a Tesla, and hopefully nothing breaks, number one. Number two is it's all batteries and wires, and I don't know how any of that works. So, but the wheels, that's pretty basic. All right, yeah, if you don't mind, if you like the video, like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any tips on things you've discovered changing your tires. Love to hear them. All right. And whatever you're doing today after you finish rotating your wheels, I hope that you do it well and you have a good day. All right. See ya.